Visitors?
So the first thing on the agenda is the library investment and financial policies, but I don't know, you can find out if there's anybody who wants to speak.
Anybody speaking for the library? Speak?
Are there any visitors first that want to speak on anything that's not on the agenda?
Yeah, I had a question. I should have asked last meeting, but I didn't think of it, but I was just wondering if you shared the selection criteria used for the NRPC appointment at the last meeting?
We did not.
I know we didn't, I didn't ask, so I'm asking now.
We just announced the decision.
Okay.
Yeah. We made an announcement.
After executive session.
Right, but so the open meeting law states that if you make a decision based on personnel or staff, that you can share the rationale for that decision in the open meeting. So I'm just asking if you can share it, understand if that's
Yeah, we went through the candidates and picked one that we thought was a good fit.
Right.
I know that there was a conversation about the fact that there was experience on boards. We had, I don't know what else we had conversation about.
Well, I think some thought there was less conflict of interest on either side of the candidates we had. The basic reason I chose that person.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
That was my rationale, plus had experience on the board for quite a while, so it seemed to me there'd be no thoughts that there was a conflict of interest all around.
I don't have a problem with this decision, I just should have asked last time, and I'm just asking now.
Cool.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? I guess the library will be up then.
Yeah, come on up, come on up. We'll slide over.
You can have
No need to be bashful.
Which one am I working
David.
with? This one or this one?
David.
Or both?
I'm taking minutes until it's my turn.
I can't.
You can't do it?
I gotta leave.
Okay.
Okay, so toward the end of last year, the Board of Trustees of the library revised two policies, the financial and the investment policy. They had been a few years since they had been updated, and we're finished with these updates. Our next step will be to have them reviewed by the town lawyer. And so before we did that, we wanted to make sure that you guys saw these policies. If you have any questions or comments, we're here to answer them. And if you have any, if you think of anything after the meeting tonight and it's a straightforward comment that you can email or something, you can also send us the comments if they don't involve too much discussion.
Yeah.
But you've probably seen these before. We didn't make too many changes. The financial policy more so than we redid these.
Been doing so many times, you can't tell which is not.
Yeah. Well, we did these toward the end of last year, so. So the financial policy, you'll notice is, it's a little bit more procedural than policy. The goal here was to have a document that, should there be a new librarian or new trustee board, that the new trustees would have something to, a little roadmap to go by, presumably since they're new to the board. So there are some procedural steps in here, especially with how the budgets are prepared and how the cash flows on a monthly basis. It's a little bit more than policy. The investment policy is more policy-based. It's a bit more obtuse to the average reader. And we did work with Thomas and Partners, our financial advisors, to help put this together.
On the financial policy,
Yep.
did we I mean, the whole intent of this was drive our requirements to you all. So had there been good communication,
Yeah,
cross-check?
We've been working together whenever this has come up. Well, I think there was one discussion that I wasn't at, but it hasn't been revised beyond where I was with them. It all links, it connects, effortlessly connects with our financial policy and controls.
Okay.
Kathy's been a big help to us,
Okay.
for answering questions and working through things.
Yeah, I think it really clearly lays out how the interaction between the library and the town when it comes to the financial matters.
There is one thing I wanted to say about the financial policy that I noticed on page, where it talks about auditing. You name the auditor, and the current auditor is with us by contract for a few years, but it may change. So you may want to say something to the effect of, what, do you see where that is?
Page,
Sorry, they're not.
It's under
I
operations.
think it was on page 4.
The last page before the signatures. I see
Audit,
it.
there it is, okay, so I would suggest that instead of having the name, cross the name out and say by duly elected auditors appointed by the select board. Not elected, duly appointed auditors by contract with the select board.
Okay.
So on that, I'm more just curious, but on the investment policy, are there two funds? Is there the portfolio, the performance portfolio, and then the operating account? Or are there three funds? Is there two different?
It's one, but it's compartmentalized into a cash section and an investment section. We get one statement for the whole thing every month.
That statement comes to me to reconcile change and that with.
So one account, but two objectives within that account. One is the portfolio, the performance portfolio, and one is the operating?
Well, one is the cash part, and one is the investment part. The cash part is more of just a utility for the transfer of cash every year to pay the mortgage. Primarily, that's what we're using it for. And then cash does have a tendency to build up in there, and then it gets, to a certain point, and then it goes back into the investment fund.
Okay. Well, I think when we first thought that this was gonna be this document was gonna be a one-pager. It's certainly,
Well, you're probably thinking of the memorandum of
Oh, that's right, that's right,
understanding.
that's right.
And
That is a
That's right.
one-pager.
yeah, and that was a
Well,
very.
two-sided.
no, both of these look very nice. And thanks for the offer for additional comments, but they definitely are consistent with our conversations. and compliant with, more importantly, compliant with the laws that would drive our world. So, and a lot of transparency.
Any other questions for us?
Read it all yet, so.
What do you do?
Well, like,
Feel free to
like I
reach
said,
out. Yeah.
reader.
if you do, if you do come across anything, just, feel free to contact us. We can,
I don't email, so I can get hold of the library and get this and Kathy.
Come on in.
Yeah,
Happy to
book
talk to you
column.
anytime.
I can't read.
They got a lot of
We can
pictures
al-
in there too.
we can also wait before we send it to the attorney, 2 weeks or half a month, whatever, if you want to give you an opportunity for any more comments.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, Northwest Regional Planning, they send out every year the updates to update all the various positions. I did notice under road commissioner, it's Morris, but it says it's usually a select board member. We have him down as road foreman. Is he also the road commissioner?
Damned if I know.
Okay,
We don't have a road commissioner.
We don't per se.
okay.
We have
So,
one right now. Haven't done that in years.
so and then
Dad used to do it, but it was just.
there, yeah, it says it's a select board, so I'll just say we don't have one. Okay, the other question was, for TAC, they have Morris and Linda is the new one. They wanna know which one is the alternate and which one is the actual TAC person.
Linda is the TAC person.
So Morris would be alternate, or, okay,
That's why we,
We need to make sure
Linda's-
that Morris is communicating with Linda as well, so that they can make sure that they're on the same page. I'm not sure how that's going at this point.
and the other thing is, what their request for this year is $2,442. They wanna know if you're approving that amount for regional planning.
What do we have in our budget?
It's part of the line for memberships and dues. I'm not sure what we put into that line, but that's part of that. Normally.
I think they asked for it earlier, so.
It usually comes out as part of our general fund, our accounting in the general fund, not as an appropriation. They invoice us and then we pay the invoice as part of fees and dues. I don't remember what you guys put exactly in there, but it's part of that line item.
it's about the same as last year, isn't it? Not a lot more.
So
Well,
whatever,
why don't we check that, and we'll make a motion next meeting.
No, this needs to be back this week.
I can look it up and find out for you.
Okay, and I need, Tom to sign.
They said, don't they always get a paper, you said that you didn't always have it, so just show us how to mail.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm positive it's,
Yeah, I can see the letter. I
Yeah.
can see the letter announcing what great value we get for the,
yeah.
So at this point, we can't do approved or not approved until you look into that. Again,
Is that the amount that they told us in the letter?
I would assume so, because it's on there.
Make a
That's-
motion to approve it.
Then I would say that
Yeah,
that's
and
the amount that
second,
we have in our budget.
Used it. It sounds right in the same area as last year's. I can't tell you to the dollar, but it's darn close to it.
Check approved.
You guys in favor of that?
in favor.
The other thing was the meeting house, the letter, I gave you that. And then this morning, I got a call from Matt, first thing this morning, wanting to know if my computers were up and running, because Friday night, he got notification that our server was crashing. He was able to get in and deal with it and get things back up and running. But basically, either we have to get better internet, which we have the option to get Fidium. If we get high-speed internet, we won't need a server. Everything can go on Nemrick Cloud and other cloud-based stuff, but right now, we can't because the internet's not good enough. So either you get a new server, which he says 8 years ago was $3,000, it's not, it's gonna be more than that now, or get faster internet. Those are the two options right now. Cause that's,
You sign up for Opinion Fiber for free, right?
We have, but I don't know what it is at this point. What is it now, that global net? Is that what's still on, or what are we
I
on?
don't know.
you're on Consolidated, aren't you?
Just still?
I don't know. I would have to look back.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the option, either change to high-speed internet or get a new server. Now, on to the next piece is,
No, but we ought to have some numbers here, that's what we're talking about.
yeah,
I mean, I know the first year with that Fidium, it was like $50 a month and phone was 15 to put
Yeah,
it onto
I
it.
think the neighbors
And I don't know what
went
it
on to
could,
Starlink, and I think there was a $400 upfront cost that they needed to
yeah.
put in place, and then there's a monthly fee.
Yeah, but if you can get fiber, you don't have to start.
No,
So
I'm thinking
Starlink's not on
Fidium makes
commercial.
more sense, but we ought to have a number to work with.
yeah. Well, I would think it's gonna be less than a new server. On to the other piece, I had some issues with my computer last week,
Did
and
did the select board want me to look into the video, or to?
Yeah, that'd be great.
or
Yeah,
does
yeah,
Linda-
do some
I
research.
think it makes more long-term
no,
sense.
you're the one that
Okay,
handles
so you'd like me to
financials.
look into the
Sure.
fiber costs? Okay.
See what's available.
Okay,
In the term of the contract, is it for a year or?
Yeah, and also when you say high-speed internet, I'd like some numbers about, like what kind of performance you
What's
require, what's required.
Yeah,
okay.
The
because,
Starlink works pretty good, and they're using it, and it
Yeah.
works, it's rock solid, very secure, very stable.
The
So-
experts are using it.
Opinion Fiber has a high net, I mean, you can get it for a little while.
Well, if that's an option,
yeah.
us who live in the pucker brush, that isn't an option, so.
Yeah. So, anyway, last week I had an issue, Matt had to come over. My computer needs to be replaced. The good news is it can be fitted to go to another less used computer in the office that needs to be replaced. So I'm asking for, looks like it's approximately $21.85 to replace my computer. So I'm asking permission to tell Matt he can order my new computer.
You must have some in your budget, right?
It's a little less than that, and we've already used a little bit of it. So we use, the computer expenses normally go toward printing. We haven't used it for, like printing for ink cartridges are pretty expensive. So in terms of having this in the budget, we have enough in that line, but it would mean no other expenses through that line unless we went over the budget.
So what are you asking over the budget?
How much does it cost?
Approximately $21.85, so $2,200.
So we have that much in the budget. It's a little, like $10 less than what we have in the budget.
Right, but how much of that 2,200 you have in the budget will get used up for?
We use all of it
All
for
of
other
it is
stuff.
for the other
Yeah.
stuff?
Mhm. Last year we used all of it.
How old's your computer?
2017.
17.
And it crashes, right? Isn't that the
Well,
issue? It freezes and,
it's, for what I need it to do on a daily basis, can't do that
Yeah.
anymore.
So that can be put, what, in the lister's office, or?
No, it's gonna go to the corner where the public computer that isn't used as much.
So the ones that come in and do title
Searches.
searches and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, the listers got replaced when Nemrick came in because that
Okay.
one was outdated and they needed, so the lister one is new.
You're 7 years old.
Yeah, sounds like you
Trade
need
trucks
a-
on
yeah,
5
get a new
years.
computer.
It's, no,
Yeah.
you sitting there staring at a frozen computer is not.
No, watching that little thing go when people are asking me questions is not good for either of us.
So 7 years is a dinosaur for that, so hold on with it.
Okay, so,
as we get close to the top of that budget line, I'll let you know and bring
Sure.
other options if we want to look at them.
okay, so I have permission to get a new computer?
Pay for it.
Okay.
The budget as it is, right?
Well, you could make it, you could take a motion to spend 2,200, leave their budget as is, right?
Since you use it anyways, so I wouldn't fool around with the budget, I would just take it out of, we'll have to find some money, I'll take it out of our general fund.
So there could be a capital, it might be a capital
I was gonna
expense.
say, when
We
you
have
have
like
your
two.
capital improvement
We
fund, you've
have a
got
lot
some
of
in
money.
there.
But I'm just saying, leave the budget as is, since you use it anyways, rather than
Right, we need that for all the other
all the
office
other
stuff,
expenses, so I would just,
calling Matt in to fix something and whatnot.
take it out of, like, say, capital improvement or whatever.
I'll bring in some options for the next meeting.
Yeah, but I'd leave the budget where it is.
Okay.
And those, Melissa's not here, so she got those ready for you to sign, and that's all I have.
Well,
Thank you.
very much.
Yeah, spend some money.
Is there any action
What do you think
that needs to
you
be
are,
taken
Mom?
on the Grady thing?
I have no idea, it's
So
up
is
to
this,
them.
for Matthew, can this wait 2 weeks, or can Brian figure out?
I mean, yeah, it was just letting you know that the heads up, but he's, he gets messages, from the server,
right.
lets him know there's issues, and he called in, and the reason he talked to me and not Kathy this morning, because he called in before, Kathy's office hours, and
Yeah.
so. I just wanted to make sure we were up and running and not left hanging, but if we weren't up and running, he would have gotten a call
You would've got
from
a
me.
call anyways.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're up.
Oh, snuck in. I didn't see you show up.
It's in there for a while.
He wasn't snoring yet.
Liesel took your seat.
Yeah.
It's real comfy back.
Definitely been sleeping back there.
That's a road foreman seat, just remember that.
Sorry. I'll yield my seat to the board.
We got, little chloride today. They're starting to lower out. Grader, gotta get two tires for the front of that.
That we just put on the tires.
Probably, I don't know how many years back now, Tom, but 2 or 3, 2 anyway. Yeah, front one.
It needs the front
Needs
ones
an
up back
alignment or
quick.
what?
Huh?
It needs an alignment or what?
Something.
How much are those things now?
James was just checking on it today.
Yeah,
They're up there.
I suspect they are.
18, at least 1,800 a piece.
Put chains on, maybe you can go longer with.
Yeah. Yeah. The grader blade's coming for it too. That's scary price too.
Well, it is needed. I traveled
Yeah.
on some roads today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cutting edge or blade?
Cutting edge.
Yeah.
Cutting edge.
Grand for cutting.
The carbide,
Yeah.
double carbide.
Yeah.
We put a lot of miles in it. They go a year, good year, roughly.
You have to swap them halfway
You do it more than, maybe about 6 times anyway.
Yeah.
To the middle what wears most, Right.
Yeah.
We swap them around, get the mileage on them.
Yeah.
And, like Gavin said, we're probably almost half around town again with grader.
Yeah, it's a
Play place to still go. They say stay together better now.
Well, with all that black stone you put on this spring, I suspect once you do get grading again, they should hold together this time much better. Won't they?
Yeah, you dry it and
Yeah,
get a chloride on it.
and it's the same old places.
Oh, yeah.
Is that black stone dusty or not?
No,
Not too bad.
not too bad.
Yeah, is it hard to grade that stuff? Back down?
And it's get packed.
Yeah.
Great hard, but
Yeah.
it stayed there
Got
too.
a stick
so,
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're chasing out of the ditch
yeah.
and all that, so.
Trying to tuck it, trying to get it back in the roads.
Yeah.
How'd you make out with that 550 trading?
I know you wanna go to executive session with
I was gonna
that?
say, you're gonna have to go to executive session if you wanna know a number, and then you're gonna put it out for bid.
Yeah, what you gonna do? Go to exec session? I'm,
Do you have anything else?
I don't have nothing else, just, like I said, about the grader and tires for that. We're
Wanna do that?
Make a
now?
motion, we go in executive session, so that the town won't be held at a financial disadvantage.
Yeah. I'll second that.
It shouldn't take but executive. I make a motion that we enter a bidding competition for the 550 town truck Ford, and we're gonna have a set a ceiling or bottom of $40,000 on our truck. Competitive bid. And we're gonna put a 2-week time frame to take action at our next meeting.
Yeah, I guess you could even put a for sale sign on the side of it. People going by and see it, in case they don't look on the.
Yeah.
So, is that to change the bid, or the motion, or is that just?
That's in addition, that's a friendly amendment.
Amendment, okay.
Second it. All those in
We're all in
favor?
favor?
Right?
Yeah, we're all happy.
Good.
Anything more, Mo?
No.
Good for you.
You got anything?
Good for you.
Thank you, Mo.
Welcome, thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from 10 April.
I'll second that.
I have a, sorry, is this one I should have done that?
For minutes, or?
Yeah, they're minor, but.
Sure.
I just want to make sure.
So I'll have something that I need to talk to you about, because I have some, okay, there are like multiple things on my report that are pertaining to you and the roads, and I needed to talk with you about it as well. So you and I are gonna wanna have a conversation after, at some point.
Not tonight.
No,
Okay.
soon, no, soon, like tomorrow if you can, or.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, or Wednesday.
Okay.
See you, Mo.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mo.
Okay.
Did you get my,
I haven't heard back from him.
Did you have,
should I run
I
it
do,
through?
yeah.
I would.
Introduce
Just want to
myself.
make sure. So for number 2, the comment that or the question that I asked, just, it says, prepared to support the appeal. I think that it should reflect, saying planning to participate. And that kind of reflects what the decision made, that you guys are not planning to enter or be an interested party.
Wasn't that a
I think that's what I did recall, that was a question, as you just stated, that it wasn't to support, it was like, are you
That
gonna
it was planning to
participate?
participate, because that's like the legal jargon, that's like, are you gonna enter your, party status? And your decision was to
You
not.
see
enter
this,
party
Kathy,
status.
to change the
It's
minutes?
Is it the minutes or the
Is
motion?
it prepared? No, so we made a motion to accept, and this is discussion of the motion, in which on comment,
On page 1?
on
Yep.
comment, paragraph 2, is prepared to support, should say, is the town of Fairfield planning on participating?
Yes.
Right, number 2.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Number 2, public comment?
This is in
Okay,
minutes.
number 2, gotcha, okay, so I thought you were talking about the motion on the back. Okay, so, say that again?
It's, instead of is prepared to support, it should be is planning on participating in the appeal,
Okay.
right?
Yep, that was the comment. Yeah, that reflects.
Okay, thank you.
And then, less important, but we did talk about the meeting minutes for the common school, and it says that I requested that they be posted on the website. I was asking, I thought at a previous meeting we had talked about that they were going to be. I just don't want to reflect that I was asking you to do more work, Kathy, and I have a lot to do.
No, it was a previous meeting conversation.
And I was wondering if they were on there, because I had looked before the last minute, couldn't
They
find
are
them.
public documents.
Okay.
Public documents. If you go into the top,
I did not look there.
if you look at the top, it says public doc, because it's not a select board meeting, so it wouldn't be under the select board
Okay.
meeting minutes.
Yeah, perfect. I didn't know, yeah, okay, I will look there, thank you. I think that's.
Any other?
I think that's all I got.
Good.
Can you, I'm sorry, can you just tell me where that is to?
That was number 7.
Thank you. Okay, I got you. meeting requested. Okay. Got it. Any other discussion? Points, changes?
I guess we just need to say, accept the minutes as amended.
Okay. All those in favor?
All right.
Kathy,
Okay. I have some more things, and then also some, I'll just go down the list because Mo's not here. So on May 27th, on the second May meeting, it's Memorial Day. So I'm requesting that we reschedule it for Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was wondering if the select board has a preference of that.
I thought Memorial Day was May 27th.
That's right, May 27th is our second select board meeting
I
for
see.
May, which is the fourth Monday. Do you have a preference?
Wednesday seemed to work last time. It's too far ahead for me.
How about Tuesday? Tuesday, work?
Tuesday works for me.
28th?
Gavin, does that work for you?
I don't think I'm gonna be here. So it doesn't make any difference one way or the other.
Okay.
Just send me a
Tuesday?
text.
Okay, I'll send you a reminder. Okay.
And yeah, I'll let David know.
Yeah.
What did you decide for Tuesday?
Tuesday, yep, 7 o'clock, the 28th. So every year we need to submit a letter of intent to participate for the next year of grants and aids program money. It's sort of a backwards grant where they say that if you want to participate, they'll put you in the calculation and then they'll tell you how much you can get next year. And this year we get $31,000, and we don't know what we'll get next year. So this is the grant that improves hydrologically connected segments of our roads so that we have less runoff and less problems on our back roads. So I have a letter of intent to participate that needs to be signed if you would like to participate. Any reason not to?
I wouldn't see why we wouldn't, we always
No.
have.
You need a motion, just signature?
Just a signature. The thing to remember is that it is a strange amount of work on our part. This, and that's fine. I'll do that work with Mo. They also have the option of contracting with NRPC, but you would have to do that with this money. So it's not like they have extra money for that. So if you're in agreement, then we can just have one signature on that one. There is another thing that needs all of you, or as many of you. The last time we signed a contract, it came back to us. So the annual financial plan for town highways is something we do every year. They tell us how much money per mile they're willing to give us, and then I do the calculation of how many miles we have, and then also estimate based on how much money we put in our budget, what the winter maintenance is and the construction that we're expecting would look like, what our annual financial plan is for town highways. It's a method that we've been doing for years and they require every year. So I brought this there is a motion actually on this that says we, the legislative body of the municipality of Fairfield, certify that funds raised by municipal taxes are equivalent or greater than the sum of at least $300 per mile for each mile of class 1, 2, and 3 town highway in the municipality. And then this goes to them by email. So I'm gonna need you all to make that motion or discuss.
So we've met the requirement previously, right?
So
Make a motion, yeah.
Okay.
Somebody second it and we'll.
Second.
Yeah,
Okay.
approve it.
And there's signatures.
For everybody.
Let's see. We submitted 2 grants for the class 2 roads and structures. And so those, we did our hydraulic studies, hold on, with Tyler Billingsley. And we have one on South Road that he presented to us. So I submitted that grant for, I think it was $185,000 or something like that, when I did all of the math on expenses. And then a $25,000 engineering grant, which we submitted last year for the North Road, the other really deep North Road culvert, so that we don't have to. That was an engineering grant because we don't know what's under the road and it's going to be more expensive. So before we can submit a structures grant, we need to know what we're getting into. The other road that we looked at getting a hydraulic study for and Tyler submitted was on Mackenzie Road to replace that culvert. And Mo and I talked about it because it's not a class 2 road, where we would like to get that, what money we would like to use for that. And he is suggesting that we do that culvert next summer and submit a grant in December for it's not class 2 roads, but it's better back roads. Those are 2 different things. And the better back roads grants come out, I think, December 15th for that year. So now that we have the hydraulic study, we can submit that grant. That means that we wouldn't be using the $31,000 that we have for grants and aid on that segment. And the reason we don't want to do that is because it would only go toward that segment and it would not cover the actual cost of that project by about $70,000. So it just makes more sense to put in that grant in December. The final hydraulic study that Mo thought we should do is the bridge on South Road, and it's more of an erosion issue, and that does need to have a hydraulic study. But Tyler has told me that it's going to cost more than what we would be able for him to do it. It's going to cost a lot of money, and it would be beyond the bid process of our financial policy. So we can do one of 2 things. Either we can put it out to bid to do a hydraulic study, or we can put it to the state, and the state can do it. It'll go on their list of things to do. The last time we did that, it took them a little over a year to get back to us with a hydraulic study.
Well over a year before you do anything down there.
Yeah.
Which bridge are you talking about? The one on Buck Hall Road or the one on?
It's on South Road. It's sort of a still teeny little bridge. It's right on, it's in between the culverts. So we have one culvert that we replaced.
Is it just before the Buck Hall Road?
Yeah,
There's
I
a
think
bridge
so.
there.
Yes.
That's the one we replaced.
It's a little.
We did the whole decking over on that about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, then it's not that one. It's the one that Mo said that we needed to look at replacing.
Is it right before the Bradley Road?
Maybe.
That's a
I mean,
that's a major culvert.
It's not a culvert replacement. It's a small bridge. It's a tiny little segment of bridge. And
The only bridges on there is.
I didn't bring a map.
And I know that one.
Yeah, I'd go with the state and let them.
Yeah, we'll worry about that.
Okay, and I can bring a
Because I
little
know
map
the
of
one-
which
that new
one
bridge
we're
just
talking
before,
about, if you want.
Yeah. No.
Billy,
Oh, Fairfield.
Fairchild needs to be riff-raffed.
Oh, is that
I'm
what
gonna
kind of?
look at it Wednesday. They were supposed to start doing it this week. Needs about 3 loads. It's gonna be right into the road.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to start.
There's nothing wrong with the bridge. It just needs some
Yes.
wrapping before it hits.
Well, there's a sandbar.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
So it needs to riff-raff and take the sandbar out.
Yeah, something similar.
So it doesn't need to be studied.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the one, I have to
What's-
ask him over that, which one he's talking about.
I already did, and we went out and looked at it, he told me, and I just didn't take notes of whose property it was next to or measurements from roads. I just had eyeballed. He told me, and he showed it to me, but I just didn't bring a picture of it. I'm sorry, or a map, I apologize. But in terms of the one that you were just talking about, the riffraff, am I doing something? I didn't hear that whole conversation.
No, I would think that one, let them, the boys get going, and
They'll just do it on their own.
I guess when we do on our own, and just get it done.
Okay.
So just before we leave hydraulic studies, so on Mackenzie Road, so,
So we have one on Mackenzie Road.
well, I was gonna say, the Pond Association is still talking with
I did contact them.
Okay, Fitzgerald Environmental Associates, they're supposed to have a number of projects that are coming out.
And
Go ahead.
No, he said that their projects are not that culvert, so they're different projects that they've identified around, and they're talking with landowners on, and he did tell me that it could possibly go toward a V-Trans grant or a, what was the other one?
Well, I'm glad you're talking to him. He just gave me an update, and I copied you and said, please keep the town in the loop on.
That's great.
So is that a culvert that needs to be oversized, or is it a box culvert deal?
Well, in Mackenzie Road, they need a bigger culvert, because when there's flooding, it floods, and it goes over the road and washes out a driveway every year, and it goes in a pond. So that's what that's about. But Fitzgerald, they're doing on the north side of the pond, and the south side and the north side, they got some projects identified. They haven't given their final list, but he said they're getting real close. In a couple weeks, it's gonna be released.
And the people that were here that time about the pond,
Those are the same
ones?
Yeah, same people.
But they don't wanna touch that.
I guess.
I already emailed and talked with them, and they said that they forwarded me on. So they said that it wasn't part of that list, so.
Well, in light of, I guess the reason I bring it up, in light of the decision that we've just said to push it back a year, maybe we should at least ask them if it would be eligible for, like, Friends of the Northern Lake Champlain grants or some other, that might accelerate, because it's definitely a water quality issue.
Yeah. Okay. I can.
At least ask,
if
Cool.
there's any other grants.
Yeah, thanks for talking to them.
No problem. Let's see. So, I'm skipping all things. I submitted the 2023 ARPA report. I updated the elected officials report with VLCT. Let's see. A public meeting is being requested as part of the select board meeting to discuss the North Road closure, and the person who reached out to me on that from V-Trans would like to know if we can do it on either May 28th, which is the Tuesday meeting, or if June 10th would work. And I don't really care either way, but I wanted to make sure that I asked you. So it would be for the closure that happens after the 4th of July. And it's going on Route 36 for a duration of time.
You're talking about when they do this bridge down here?
Yeah, the Route 36 bridge replacement. They have they have to do a public, as part of their work, they have to hold a public meeting.
Right, but we're not closing the North Road.
Not North Road, I'm sorry, Route 36. I'm talking about
the
Route 36. I have all these roads in my head. I'm sorry, I'm talking about.
That really
Route
put people in
36.
a tough spot.
No. We're diverting.
PTSD from the last year.
I know, God, too many roads, man. So they're closing Route 36, and they need to do a public meeting as part of their preparation for that, and they would like to know, they would like to do it as part of our select board meeting, either on June 10th or May 28th. So I was wondering if.
Let's do it on the 28th, maybe the same meeting. I mean,
I wouldn't, you know, they already came and told us once, and they told them nobody's gonna use the North Road, but they didn't believe us, so.
So there's a,
Yeah, I don't anticipate, they've got a requirement,
they have a requirement.
but it's not like we're gonna change anything.
Right, it's not for us.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
for
make
the
an
public.
announcement, they can fill the square, and
Right.
hopefully maybe we would reach some people that aren't aware of this, because
And
I'm
we
sure.
could possibly hold it before our meeting too. I mean, we
Yeah,
could
that's
push
what I
the
was
meeting to 6 and have them have their part of it as a public meeting. Or we can just put it in the middle of our
You
meeting.
can ask him how long he needs, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they don't use the North Road, what road?
Not North
No,
Road.
it's 36.
36.
Yes.
There's
They'll
a,
use the North Road to get around Route 6.
yeah, they're gonna use North Road and, well, hopefully they're going to use all of the state roads.
That's their intention, is having them go away to Sheldon. I said, no way will anybody go. They're gonna go right down Chester Arthur and down that bridge to Kingdom Come.
Smithereens.
You'll have tractor trailers and everything on that road.
Yeah.
Either that or they'll go this way, but they are not taking any state road, I guarantee you that. Our roads are-
Well, I was thinking we should probably check, like, I don't know who would do this, but like Google's class 4 roads, like up by us, they kept trying to take people on Berry Road, which doesn't exist anymore for a long time. So I just think maybe we should make the public aware that if you live on near a class 4 road, you need to report it to Google so that they're not sending tractor trailers down roads that don't exist anymore, if people have issues with that. We had an issue with it, I reported it to Google a couple times, then we got it fixed, but just a note to people, if you've got class 4 roads near you that people keep trying to drive down, or Google keeps trying to drive people down, report it to Google, that road doesn't exist, or you might end up with a 16-wheeler, 18-wheeler down the road.
Can you remind me of your name, please?
Liesel,
Liesel, thank you.
L-I-E-S-L, yep.
So if you don't mind, I'll offer the 28th to them and we'll see them then. Let's see.
Do you wanna start early, like you did, or?
Yeah, I'd see how much time he needs. If he needs half an hour, we can start at 6:30.
Okay.
Or how long he thinks he needs, yeah. I mean, no need to start at 6 and then have him get done in 15 minutes,
Yeah,
and we can't
that's
start
true.
until 7, so.
That's true.
I'd see how long he needs and
Okay.
give him a little leeway.
Kathy, are we still on roads and bridges or not long on past that?
That's basically everything I have in terms of,
What about insurance?
I'm just wondering what you want me to focus on. They canceled the TAC meeting, the last TAC meeting last month. They canceled it. So I'm just wondering, everything that you just said, I just took copious notes on. And only one of the things you talked about is on the TAC to-do list. And I just need some guidance about what you want me to do about getting all these other important things on their to-do list. Should we have a separate conversation about that?
yeah, it's a conversation that you and Mo and I need to have, and I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I just introduced myself to him, and we'll do fine if we can't forget the three of us, but of all the things that you guys were just talking about, those you would like me to take up and represent and like advocate for?
The new bridge on Chester Arthur Road.
Bridge
That's-
51.
Really hard,
That's the one that,
really hard,
that's half my notebook here.
yeah.
We'll start there, it's no doubt gonna get worse,
Oh, yeah.
when it's closed.
And you know what, touched base with them about the fact that it takes over a year to get a hydraulic study now. It used to take like, what, 3 months, 2 months to get a hydraulic study from the state?
Okay,
That's crazy, and we're paying out of pocket for these now because it's more expensive, because it's taking so long.
okay.
I have a question. I remember at the town meeting, there was a gentleman stood up that I believe he was a police officer, talked about getting some kind of signal at that bridge. Is that something we have to take up with
This is,
VTEC, or who's that a separate entity we have to pay for ourselves as far as a light on that bridge?
we have money that is available and we needed to create an expense plan for it, and I haven't seen what that looks like yet, so that's where we are at this point.
Okay.
But probably, I mean, realistically, in the end, we probably rent one of those solar units, like we had down here, Robbie and Danny Horgan's. something of that nature. Because that bridge is nuts. I mean, when you come across, you don't know who you're gonna meet. If you're gonna be meeting tractor trailer trucks, that's gonna be a whole crazy scene.
Even farmers would come across it.
Yeah, just anything.
I mean, they gave us, I think, $1,900.
$19,000.
Keep $19,000 to keep the dust and maintain the roads for why the traffic is.
Yeah.
They've estimated over 2,000 people use this road a day, and they're trying to divert them through state roads.
How about the common school, the East Fairfield claim?
Right, so it's in, they had, one of their assessors was gonna go out and take a look at everything, see how it looks, and come back with an estimate for us. And then once we have an estimate, we can.
Great, thanks for doing that.
Yeah. It's been a team effort,
Yeah,
for
good.
sure.
What about the workman's comp issue?
Which issue? We had an audit and they increased it. But
For the contractors.
for the contractors, so there's more, there's more to that than I thought.
I don't think it's workers' comp though, Ron, right?
It
You
is,
mean-
it is workers'
Yeah,
comp.
it's for the contract.
They, every year they do an audit, and last meeting we talked
Oh,
about.
I thought you were talking about the school.
No.
Yeah, no,
contract.
we talked about how there's
Small
a way
contractors
to
that don't carry
make
it.
small contractors
Oh, okay.
less
Yeah.
expensive.
They don't carry it on themselves.
So it requires, they are requiring not just,
Well, you were gonna
a
write,
hold harmless, but, so this is through Vermont League of Cities and Towns, they have a hold harmless thing,
Yeah.
but they also, for these folks, ask that they sign a contract of what their work is, what the parameters of their work is, so, before they do the work. So those two steps are gonna need to happen, and
This is League of Sitting Towns requesting this?
no, this is
Or the
us
insurer.
requesting it so that we don't have to insure them.
They have to sign both forms?
They would have to sign both forms. And we would have to make sure that the one form has a clear parameter of work on it. Otherwise, we're gonna cover them as part of our workers' comp. That's what that's what that increase last year was. This year it was $7,000 from our current,
No, but I'm thinking if you hire someone with an excavator, so much an hour, you're gonna put a contract on there, say up to $10,000 or something?
you have to put a contract on, yeah. And say, this is what the parameter of your work is, this is how much it's gonna cost, and then they have to sign it.
Yeah, because you may hire people to do different jobs, different culverts, and it's gonna, you get a sum at the end.
Mhm.
I mean,
So all of those.
You're not gonna get one
require
signed for
contracts.
each individual culvert.
So what's the total? It was like 7,000 last year?
Last year it was 7,000. At one
Increase.
point it was.
Wasn't it increased 7,000?
It increased after the audit. They look at all of the insurance, certificates of insurance
Right.
that I collect over the year. I scan them and fax them over. And then give them a report from NIMRIC, and then they plug it all into their system. Now that we have a new, and it's been about $7,000 to $10,000 each year that we go up. One year it was $23,000, and I worked with our previous insurance company, and they gave us a refund. But it's always been about $7,000 to $10,000 a year. That's higher than what the proposed is, because it's not. We don't know who's going to have that coverage until they do an audit every year. So Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns has a strategy in place because they see this all the time. And their strategy is they're not covered by our insurance if they have a contract and they sign the hold harmless form.
Sounds complicated.
It's complicated. And it would have to bump back, it'll have to bump between Mo and I as well, and it's really hard for us to get in the same room. So if he has an idea for who he wants to have excavating, he'll get in touch with that entity and get it out there on the day that they need to get out there. And I don't know until I see the invoice that that's happening sometimes. So this would require.
that's gonna take a change, that's gonna, yeah.
It's going to take some change. It's gonna change, and
Well,
it's.
he's just gonna need to keep some of those forms on hand and just have them sign them when they start their job.
And you guestimate on the project what your cost may be to change culverts out.
Mhm.
You guesstimate it, and if
Right.
it's, say it's 10,000, it winds up being 7, then that's what the numbers will be, but better you put a higher estimate, and then if they don't reach it, you're not gonna, as long as they sign both documents.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
The main
against us.
document is they don't hold the town liable for.
Right, and the other part is the one you're gonna have to guesstimate on some of these jobs, cause they start them. They may do an extra 100 feet of ditching when they
Or
do.
you don't know what you're hitting.
Right, you don't know if you're gonna get into ledge or what's gonna happen when you start them. It's not a specific science by any means.
And the select board will need to make sure that, so I'm comfortable getting this going on my end, but we have to make sure that there's capacity in the road crew to be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna
And
have to,
ability.
we're gonna have to force it, like, guys, this has to be done before you get a moving. If you got, and there's gonna be times when you get storms taking roads out.
Well, let's make sure that next meeting, we have this conversation with Mo and kind of
and
reinforce this.
Other ones on the Moai, but the others ought to be made aware of it, so when
Sure.
if they're around, they can get the
You know,
paperwork there.
maybe we have a signature, a new policy with a signature block. Everyone's gonna
Yeah.
sign the new, here are the forms, you know, I acknowledge I've had the briefing, you know,
Yeah,
some compliance thing.
so the other one, if they happen to be there and the person arrives with the equipment, they can get it signed right then too, you know.
So if we can make sure that we touch base with Mo about this, that would be great.
Yeah, next meeting.
Thank you.
If you put together the documents for the next meeting.
I have them on my desk, yep.
Good.
So the only other thing is I need to touch base with you about a contract issue, and I think that's it.
You'll have the new bids.
The new bids, excuse me, we have
They're not
to,
the
right, the low
blackout,
bidder,
the low.
right, we need to choose the low bidder of,
Paving contract.
yeah, paving contract, and I don't see my minutes, so. Let's see, so I did do a chart, and Whitcomb has the most pieces of the bid in place out of all of them, including the insurance, and they're the low bidder. So I would request that the select board.
I make a motion that we award the contract for paving to Whitcomb.
I'll second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's it. So I do have to just talk to you about a contract issue.
You said there's some legal.
Yeah, we have a
things you to
contract issue that the board asked me to investigate on it's an appeal that's. in
So we have one
legal-
legal issue, one contract issue, and
Before
then
we
we
go
have
to executive
properties.
session, I got, for just other business, we had a meeting for the old
Okay.
schoolhouse, and they're talking about trying to figure out what the sewer is there. Is there any way we can,
We already have that on the table, and David has the name of the person who was referred to us by Tyler Billingsley and the phone number, and he was gonna meet with that person out
Okay.
on the field.
okay, I'll check.
We're just, kind of waiting.
Well, basically, right now, there's a big tank there, right, Tom?
I don't know.
There's a tank, well, remember they had troubles a few years ago, they dug it up, there's a big tank there. Septic field had no idea. He took care of the problem with the tank. Remember that, because they brought in a few loads of gravel, put back over the tank, made sure the tank was cleaned and emptied.
Yeah.
But the septic field, I have no idea.
Right, yeah.
So David did say that he was gonna be doing it this week. I'm not sure
Okay,
if he was able to do it at all yet.
And then they talked about community trust, nonprofit that Julie's working on. I don't know where she's at from there, but.
Yeah, we chatted a little bit about the Village Trust Initiative, which is a great initiative from the Vermont Council for Rural Development, that would sort of help us along if we wanted to do this project to create a community trust, which is a couple different options we're bouncing around as to like how we want to do that. But I think if we were to want to do that, we would have to, and excuse me if I'm wrong here, Ronnie, if we want to do that, we would have to ask for the select board to like do a long-term lease for us, because the Village Trust Initiative is like site specific, so we wanna apply it to that particular site. So I think the part that would be the ask of the select board, as I understand it, would be creating some kind of long-term lease to the trust, to this community trust. We're trying to figure out what to do with that, if we want to start another nonprofit, if we want to attach to an existing nonprofit in Fairfield. So that's, I think, the big select board ask that we're trying to put together there, as I remember and recall.
Yeah, that's right.
Halfway through.
And then, well, if you did get some funding, and then you'd need to go to the public task for,
Well, you go into, if it's community trust, they would handle the whole schoolhouse.
Yeah,
So
it's like
we give
creating a
them
nonprofit.
a long-term
around
lease,
that.
and then they would take it from there. Basically, that's what it comes down
and
to.
try to get the funding together and all the
Right.
other
Be like
parts
the
of it,
community center.
of that
Yeah, same
nature.
as community center.
Yeah.
Won't cost us nothing, but it will cost us in the long run.
Yeah,
But there is a pretty
that's
good,
sort of like my $2 haircut in Bakersfield, right, $8 tip, but.
But you get a lot of wisdom in that haircut. I know who you got it
You know what I'm talking about up there.
from, whether you want it or not.
I told Cindy last time I got one, I said, well, I don't know, pretty soon, I said, yeah, I'm gonna have him sit in the chair and I'm just gonna walk around so he can cut it.
That's funny.
Okay,
Before we go into the executive session, do warrants. and
yeah, let's do
then-
the, I make a motion to accept the warrants,
yeah,
I'm gonna get that
second.
done.
Did you get enough signatures?
I did, yeah.
Do you need, are we gonna be having any actions when we come out?
Not from the, you just got an
Were you
advice
gonna
on
act
a
on it?
contracts issue.
I don't know, it depends on what the
Okay.
select board wants to do about properties, but, we can follow up on that as well.
Well, I guess if we need to go into executive session, we get all
I
the.
make a motion, we go into executive session for 2 contractual issues.
Yeah, contractual issues, a legal issue, and, to discuss, a real estate
Real
issue.
estate transaction?